Hi, everyone. Good afternoon, and welcome to another session, another episode of Unleashing Unlimited Power, where we're speaking to our millennials, life as a millennial. This platform was designed for our young people to come on and speak about the things that are going on with their life in the hopes that they can learn from each other while teaching each other, motivating each other, because there's so many things happening with our young people today. Today we have with us LuEllen Newhouse. She's from Indiana. LuEllen has decided to join us to tell us her story. Welcome, LuEllen. How are you this afternoon?
Hello, and I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I am doing good. I'm doing good. Thank you once again for joining in. It's very much appreciated. So,
Pleasure.
what is life like for you as a millennial? Tell us all about it.
It sounds crazy to say it, but it's different and it's new compared to how things have progressed over the past 10 to 20 years. It's really different. And the reason why I say that because growing up in the 90s, early 90s at that, not late, but 92, you have in front of you a television and some cartoons. Then like you get a computer gateway. They're not even in business anymore that I know of. Now I have an iPhone and all this type of new technology. So right now I'm living in a real digital era where it's just like everything can be accessed through like a touch of a button. Some like the Flintstones, but I mean not Flintstones, but the Jetsons. We're not there yet, but I can really get access to anything I want just by my cell phone compared to when I used to be at a Catholic school and I went there for like kindergarten through sixth grade, where I learned like to use a library, to use a thesaurus, to use an encyclopedia or a dictionary, and to read books and use them as credible sources. Now I can just get up on the computer and just find what I need because why a college student had research is doing research or this like some part of a college is doing research and just trying to gather research and stuff like that. And you just have just everyone uploading onto the internet to inform people whether it's credible or not. So I'll say it's different. This is my first go around because this is like new. I was like, this is new for everybody. So I can't say, oh yeah, they've done this before. No, things are changing every day and they're creating like guidelines so it can be safe on the internet, for small children, even for adults, because the hacking is terrible now. And it's like, you don't know who to trust. I'm used to getting stuff in the mail, which I still do, but now I get stuff through email. So you have to like be really careful and really have to do like your research. Like, hey, is this really legit or is this not legit at all? But far as like I said, the past couple of years, just because everything just progressing fast, I don't know. I think growing up, is quite different compared to how people were growing up like in the 50s and the 60s and 70s. Like when I could think about my dad's and mom era, times were different. Things were, from what I heard, the 70s were a good time to live. The average Black man, all of them had a Cadillac and could provide for their 10 kids and their wife. And now it's like, I'm like close to 30, no children. And I feel like, oh man, I need to work two jobs because I got to pay this, that, and the third. So I could just only imagine like how it was easier, I feel, for them than it is for us. But I think some people might say, hey, no, you can make money fast. Now you can be a TikToker or a YouTuber, or you can actually take a class and make money on your own and teach other people to do it. So I guess it's just really about going out and just networking people and like finding things that, that's benefiting you or that's can serve you better and make money. So I don't know. I think I'm just here. I mean, right now, like especially as a woman, it's just so much because it's either I feel like they push, the medical field a lot for women. Like, hey, you can be a nurse, 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 and it's like it's more than just being a nurse. And if you want to be a singer or actor, you're crazy. That's not realistic. Or I know a lot of women are selling homes and stuff like that. it's just really different. Like right now, I would just say that, and I'm trying to find my stitch. I'm trying to find where I stitch in, and I'm trying to find what is suitable for me in the next years, because I have to think long term. I can't just think for the moment. I gotta realize like I'm gonna be here for a while, and I need like something that's gonna support me into like my last days, and not just for me, but something I can pass down to my generation and the next after that. So like I said, I'm just trying to find myself in my groove, basically.
Yeah, yeah. You said a number of things that are really very interesting. You started talking about the change in technology, and you're right, because now everybody has a cell phone. And I remember when I grew up, we didn't even have a phone in the house, and now everybody has a cell phone. But one thing I wanted to ask you was, because you mentioned, you're getting a lot of emails, and people have to be careful out there on the internet. What is your viewpoint as far as, when you're starting a business, or when you're trying to promote, something that you want to do? What are your thoughts on using the internet to do that, social media platform to do that?
I think there's pros and cons to the internet, just like with like knowledge. It's pros and cons. It's great because you're being exposed, to a whole bunch of people. It's a lot when I think about it. When I really, really think about it, like I said, it's good because it's like, hey, you get this exposure, but it's not guaranteed exposure. It's not guaranteed you'll get, the exposure you think you're supposed to want. Now that, because I remember when I first got my Instagram, that was like back in 2012. So I was fresh out of high school. Didn't know how to use it. Instagram was nowhere compared to how it is today. That's what blows me. That's why I'm like,
Yeah.
it could be a little bit overwhelming. But when it was just basic, it was literally just taking a picture with filters and just posting and hashtag. Hashtag was the thing like 2012 and up. Because I remember when Twitter came out, and I was on Twitter for a little bit, but I left Twitter because I'm not doing that. But as far as Instagram's concerned, you have direct messages, you post, this is your page. I don't even know if you can make it private. And you probably could, but it wasn't so. Now it's very analytic. And what I've learned from watching on YouTube, because I myself wanted to create my own YouTube account and do my own business through Instagram, but sometimes I guess I'll have to say it's what you prefer. You have to really go through the trials and errors of that, because you'll figure out what's for you, what's not for you. So it's so analytic now. Like if I turn my page to a business page like I have it now, it shows me who all came to my page, how people with my posts, and now I can pay Instagram to push my work, or I can pay other people. And like I said, you have to be careful if you pay other people just to have you being posted on their page or on their story. So they're making it a lot more marketable now for people to get their business out there. And like I said, it's really good, but just because you pay for that don't mean that necessarily comes with the followers. And a lot of people, if you want to be like a brand ambassador, a lot of them look for how many followers you got and how well you interact with them or how they interact with you. Because you have like 150,000 followers, do they interact? Do they like your posts? You can have all these people and they don't like your posts. And a lot of your friends or these people that's following you on these networks, they could just be scams or robots and stuff like that. And I see a lot of that more now than I ever did before when Instagram started. So that's why I said it's pros and cons to it. Is it a good way to network with other women? Yes. I took a class in New York, and my instructor told us that we all must follow each other. We all must do that. That's very much important. You're supposed to support the people, that you're in class with, this, that, and third. And I still follow these women. I still like their posts. I share their things because that's just, what you're supposed to do. We're a small community, at that time. So why not do that? But now when I'm checking to see who looks at my posts, it's a lot of spam, like a lot of spam. And that's what I don't like about Instagram, because you can't get a certification or verified account without reaching a certain number. And I believe they have to be actual people and not so much spam. because these companies are going to pay you to sell their things, and you'll get like a percentage out of it, and based on how much you post is how, some people can come up like, hey, I just show, hey, I use Fenty, for example. They can pay me for how much, but I might not get the money right then and there. Just because I got like 500,000 views, that don't mean I get paid that same time. I might not get my later. And then when you're on YouTube, you can't compete with yourself. And there's certain analytics with that too. There's like some type of formula with that. So if you post a video, and it's probably the best from what I was hearing, I'm watching other girls do it, there's this thing called Vlogmas, and they're like post all throughout Christmas. All throughout December. They just posted things season. And they notice like, man, my views aren't up, or I'm posting like that. Why are my views? Why are these people not? Because you're competing with your last video. People are still trying to watch that and catch up on that. And that's why a lot of them don't partake in that anymore, And then with TikTok coming out, the attention span is getting shorter. So it's real quick, a minute, and then you're on. A minute, then you're on, then you're on, then you're on. So, honestly, it's pros and cons to it. It's pros and cons to it, because you have all different age groups in your audience. And that's one thing nowadays, everything is aesthetic. It's with the aesthetic, and your page has to match. You can't have like pink and purple theme and then just throw a dog on there. It has to all match. That's what gets people attention, and you got to know who your audience is. Right. Every own woman business I've seen on there that talks about helping women start their brand, they always talk about how your page look and how to attract your audience and know who your audience is. So at the end of the day, like I said, I think it's good. And then again, when you're supposed to make money, like even with YouTube for the ads, or even in your own video, like if you have like a snippet of a famous person's song on there, you won't get paid for that video. Yeah, it's a lot of copyright. It's pros and cons to it, to be honest. But you will have to do your research, and you will have to know how to finagle to,
right.
List it. And that's the thing. A lot of outside people will support you before the people that's close to you will.
Yeah, that is so true. That is still true. Let's shift the topic a little bit. I want to ask you, now, as you listen to the news and you get on social media platform, you're hearing a lot of stuff of what's going on with the young people. The young people are more depressed, and some are committing suicide. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's about the same. I don't think it's nothing different compared to what was back in the 80s, the 70s, and the 60s, and the 50s. I truly believe time just repeats itself. The only difference is everything is being televised, is being shown. And I'll just say this, and I have nothing against no community. I'm not racist. I'm not against people who like the same sex or want to be transgender. The only thing I just ask that you respect the actual thing and give credit when it's due. Okay, that's the only thing. But I feel that I can't speak for other countries because I'm not from there. I don't know how it goes down over there. But I'll assume there's some weird things going on too, like things that's not okay. That's a good way to put it. I feel this country that I'm in is really corrupted, and it's something wrong with them. And I was living in New York, and that was only for 3 years, but I learned a lot of things about in New York. Like, man, these people up here are crazy compared to where I don't see a lot of crazy people. And when I say crazy, like this lady come in a doctor's office with a dog. I'm like, oh, she's blind. She's fine. The woman wasn't even blind. And they say, oh, that's her service dog. Well, what type of service does she do? And it's a little Yorkie. What do they do? They can't really do much. Oh, or like something mentally is like a I forget what they call it. It helps with her nerves or anxiety or something like that. And I'm like, in Indiana, that is not a real thing. And you people are crazy. That's why I'm like, you're crazy. That's not even a thing. What you mean the dog helps with your anxiety? That's no. And I'm like, in New York should be like a state that is like mental awareness, like for real, because there's some crazy people out here. But all in all, to say, I feel like they focus on the wrong things here. Don't get me wrong, people's rights and safety is very much important, but mental health is way more important than anything. And it starts from home. It starts early childhood. And I feel like a lot of people, and I'm not saying a specific group, I'm just saying a lot of people have a lot of troubles and whatnot as an adult because of childhood trauma. They have not even learned to process, won't heal. And I feel like this country does not focus on mental health enough. And I'm watching another thing on YouTube, and it's about this guy. He do interviews with prostitutes, with pimps, drug addicts, and one was with a drug addict. The girl was like 22, and I had to watch it because it was like intriguing. And she was telling me how she would lie and say how she had a normal childhood just to seem normal when really her mom died in a house fire. She was like 22, strung out on crack cocaine, and explain how they don't give enough money to help people recover. And that right there was like, ooh, eye opener. Like, oh my God, like I never thought about drug addicts or anything like that. But say they go to jail and they have like their withdrawals, that's not recovery. You know what I'm saying? And then they go back to the drugs. And it was just like really heartbreaking because I'm like, we put so much money into the wrong things, and we need to help these people because at the end of the day, we the people is what keep this country running. And I hate that we are at each other's necks because of religion, because of skin color, because of who has money and social status and politics. I really hate that. Or even education, because if we all just understood that we run this country, we got more pull than anybody that's running this country, we would be a lot better off. And then they don't educate it too, so they keep us in this box. And a lot of things that don't get addressed is mental health. Mental health. Someone in our city just recently, a 9-year-old just killed a 4-year-old with a gun. Just recently, you know? And it's like, these are the things we're not coming together on. Why? Because it could have been something where the parent could or whoever could have put the gun up. But like, you just don't know people and where they're at mentally with it. Yeah. I'm not saying everyone is a saint. I ain't saying everyone the devil. But what I am saying, there is a crisis within every community. And it's not just Black, even though we got, I don't want to say we got the most trauma, but we do have a lot of trauma, just like other countries and cultures and races. And I feel like if we just took care of that, we wouldn't have a lot of sick people. We wouldn't have a lot of people who don't want to like do better for themselves. And so that's where I feel where this country and probably other countries fail. Like, they should pay for free mental health. We need more of those people. We got too many mentors and not enough mentees. And that's just my honest opinion on that. So I kind of focus more on that than who likes who has this, who's wearing this, how to get rich quick, or, we still need cures for cancer and stuff, but still, like, that's important because I'm in the healthcare field and I see a lot of mentally disturbed older people, And that's why I did like my job at the time, because I got to talk to these older people and find out, hey, nothing's really changed. It's just a new era. We're just getting a little more technology and things just being more supported. And it's like, wow, this man dealt with, being raped at a young age by a man and this, that, and the third. And he's carrying that. And he's carrying that with him every day. And the man, like 80-some years old. I was like, he told his parents and they did not even care to do anything about it. So it just, it's a lot. And I let those patients come in and unpack it with me. Because at the end of the day, we need those trusting people in the healthcare field. You need one who you can trust, you can talk those things out with. And like I said, everything starts from home, and they didn't address it. And now this man's carrying this, trying to figure out things in the world, and lie. And it is really heartbreaking, to be honest. I really wish we could really focus more on that than the other stuff that's not even important, to be honest.
Right. I agree with you. And it's interesting how you said that, you said earlier that what we're facing now is nothing new.
Yeah, it's nothing.
The suicide, the depression is nothing new. It's just that what we have to do is educate our people more on mental awareness, because you have people, some races and creed, you can't even go and say, you know what, I'm depressed, I'm feeling down today. They don't want to hear that, but depression been around for a long time. You're right about that.
I think, and then like far as the young generation, to answer that question fully, I mean, I don't know, because I'm trying to figure out what y'all really depressed about. And it might sound selfish, but it's like our ancestors worked for us to be where we at today, and you're not taking.
True. Yes.
And it's like I don't know. I can't talk about everybody's household because everybody do things differently. I don't know what's going on, but the ones I think that are bored, I feel like some are just bored. You know what I'm saying? I honestly feel some are bored. And the other ones are probably really is dealing with, you know, hey, my mom's not at home. She's always gone, running and ripping the streets. I don't know who my father is, or both my parents are dead. My grandmother's raising me, or I'm in this foster care. It's the same thing. Time repeats itself. It always do in politics, in marriage, in race, in health and sickness. All of it is, it just, like I said, it's just being televised now.
You say something very interesting. And when you said that, what came to my mind was, you say, what do we have to be depressed about? And what came to my mind was the things that we have versus what our parents and grandparents had. What came to my mind was, I don't like to do laundry. I don't. I do not like to do laundry. I'll be the first person to tell you that. So, but it's funny as you said that, because I'm thinking all I have to do is put the clothes in the machine, add the detergent, and press the button. My mother growing up and my grandmother, and even before that, even when I was a little girl growing up, and this is something that my mom was always at odds about, was getting over the tub and washing with our hands. Oh my gosh, I absolutely hated it. So when you said that, that's what came to my mind, because right now we have so many machines at our disposal. We have a vacuum to vacuum the house where you were sweeping with your hands, you know, even the mop. You don't have to wring the mop out anymore. You know, you have that. You have a dishwasher, you have a washing machine and a dryer, and we have come so far. And you're like, we are working harder so our children could live a better life as opposed as before. So when you think about it, that aspect, it has to be something else that is causing the depression among our youth, because they don't have to struggle as much as their parents did. Because now you find parents are working 2 and 3 jobs to get their children into college, or so they could have a car, or they could have money in their bank account. You have children now in school and they have a credit card. You know, their parents are giving them a bank card. I was lucky if I even had cash to go to school. So then it boils down to, what is it that's causing our children to be depressed? Could it be maybe they need to get outside more rather than playing the game? Could it be the shows that they're watching? You know, when you watch a show and the Bible even said it, you're angry because you want what you don't have. Could that be a part of what's causing them to depress, as opposed to, growing up, we were outside playing games, we were climbing trees, we were picking our own fruits. Now our children are not doing that. And I'm not saying that it made us any less depressed than them, because some people just were born with a mental sickness. But for the most part, we were getting out there. People are really not enjoying nature the way it's intended to begin with.
Sadly, because when I think the last Good Saturday, and I told my mom this, I said, me and Richie were playing like this thing with the bat, like the tennis racket, and we were just tossing the ball, whatever. I just noticed like my little cousins and my nephews, they all just migrated towards us. They were just watching us. I told my mom, I said, that's not normal to me. And she was like, why not? You say that? I said, because I remember we'll watch for a second and then we will want to do it next. You know, I think only one person wanted to do that. That was my nephew, but he's so attached to me and noticed that we always do things together. He wants to be the one next. I'm like, no, we playing real quick, because it was just a fun thing. This is what we grew up to do. Just be a little competitive or whatever. But I said, notice how they just watched us like for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
That's from phone in their hand and a tablet in their hand. And I said, it's weird. It's really, really, really weird, because not only I noticed that, but me and my cousin also said, we got to wreck with them so much now. Why? And I was like, you're right. I said, because my grandmother had passed, so we were at my grandmother's house. And so we were talking. I'm like, yeah, man, these kids don't even play with them, like with each other. It's weird. And we was like, yeah, it used to be so many adults, so many kids, and we were running around doing whatever, acting, how kids act. And the adults, it's like we knew what to do and what not to do.
Mhm.
And as long as we're letting no one get hurt and no one fighting and stuff, it was fine to do whatever we did. We got to ask before we leave, but these kids would play for about 5 minutes and then maybe 10 minutes and then I'm bored. And we're like, what is wrong with y'all? Technology is too much. And I feel like a lot of parents push, technology onto their kids at a young age and teach them to learn instead of teaching them themselves firsthand. And I think that's why my nephew is like, so let me try, because he's used to me teaching him firsthand, like, hey, instead of like, here, watch it on here, So that could be part of it. And like I said, I just noticed like our generations are different. We have similar things, but we're very different. Like I said, their attention span is like short. I'm like, man, we'll be, oh my gosh, man, I don't know. I do hope one day, this whole thing with this depression, it start coming to a part where it's like slowly being taken care of and we can help these kids. But yeah, honestly, I couldn't even tell you, because like I said, some parents aren't fit parents and some have it all and they still be bored.
Right. We have time for one last comment. What would you tell my guests if they were listening right now? What advice would you give them? It could be about, I'm going to leave it open for you. It could be about depression, the depressive state that they're in. It could be about relationship. Your choice. What advice would you give them right now?
If I could talk to my 18-year-old self, we'll say 16-year-old self, I would really tell myself this, like, girl, it's more to life than where you from. And I'm happy that my dad was a traveler and I didn't take after my mom. My mom is like a real homebody, but she has a big family. So that explains a lot too. My dad's a traveler. So I will want to say this, you guys, there's so much more to life than that boyfriend or girlfriend, than, that school or that college. Please go out and see the world, travel, but be responsible. Second. I'll take it back. Okay, Dad. Okay. I'm on the interview. But it's so much more to life than that job, than that. Please see the world and don't just see it through a phone. Go out, experience it. You'll have that time to be a mother. You'll have that time to be that career-driven person. You'll have all that time. God will give you that. But I always tell people to go out and travel because your mind begins to open up. You be around other people and you learn. Diversity is good. It's very good for yourself. And to basically, do take school serious. I don't want nobody slack off in school. Take it serious because that can really open doors for you to really see the world. If I could go back and kind of like apply I could have applied out of college, out of state. I knew it was going to cost my mom more money because Notre Dame was going to pay for it. And I should have just did it. I shouldn't have worried about the money because right now my loans are in default right now. So it's like they don't know what they're about to do with it. So I kind of wish I really took that time and really did that, because there's so many people to learn from, so many places to learn from. It's just a lot. And I feel like not only is it good to learn, but it can help you with any depression, anything, having that peace of mind, being able to meditate, to get away from things that stresses you or trigger you. So that's what I mean, like to travel, and to eat properly. That's really my real thing in that, to eat properly. Fast food is not good. I know it's like a broken record, but the things that we're eating is really messing with the mind. It's so much hormones and a lot of these things please one day grow your own garden. I met this woman that was like 80 years old. The woman was in the tunnels with her grandkid, running through tunnels, crawling fast. The woman's in good top shape because she eats from her garden and she's active. So please travel, eat well, drink water, and stay active.
Oh, good advice. Thank you so much. That is awesome advice. One time I was on an interview and the gentleman asked me what advice I would give people in Antigua who they don't have the sales like I said, go garden. Afterwards, I was like, I hope people don't take that the wrong way. But when you could go out in your garden, and I'm doing that this summer, go out in your garden and grab your peppers and tomatoes and everything. Oh my God, it is so good. It tastes so much better. Very good advice, LuEllen. I appreciate you telling that. Thank you so much for joining us. You guys, if you want to be a guest on my show, please send me an email, unleashingunlimitedpower@gmail.com. With I'm speaking to young people. You come on and you speak about what's going on with your life. You're advising others, you're motivating others, you're teaching others while you tell us about the things that's going on in your life. Thank you so much. I'm LuEllen Newhouse. This is Dr. Eurita signing out. Thank you. Have a very blessed day. Bye.